Seniors Matter. I'm Brenda Charles-Edwards, the host of Seniors Matter, and we're live today and every Friday at 12:30 p.m. on www.Rainier Avenue Radio.world, your South Seattle, community radio station. You can also listen to us on YouTube, Facebook, and of course, the Rainier Avenue Radio App. We feature interviews with people that provide services or have valuable information for seniors, their families, and of course, the community. Do you need financial documents notarized? Are you a person that needs documents read to you for clarity or completion? Just give me a call, Brenda, at Black Orchid Notary, 206-683-2636. Tell me where, I'll meet you there. Well, I'm really excited because my guest today is LaNita Thomassen. She's a breast cancer survivor and a member of the Sierra Sisters and a good friend of mine too. Welcome to the show, LaNita. How are you? I'm so glad you're here. Okay, LaNita, unmute yourself. Now, girl, you know you can't talk when you're muted. There you go.
Hi.
Oh, better. How are you, my dear? How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Hanging in there.
Well, you look wonderful. And I like that t-shirt. What is that? Okay. All right. Oh, so it's for Sierra Sisters. And is that for the event tomorrow?
No, this is just a shirt I bought for to wear. Just bought me a bunch of t-shirts, crush cancer, breast cancer and stuff, so that I could represent throughout the year and during times that there's special events going on.
Well, it's perfect. I love it. I love those shoes. Okay, so let's get started. So one of the things I would like you to share with my audience is your journey with breast cancer, and the other is how the Sierra Sister organization has played a role in this journey. So let's start with when you found out you had breast cancer. When was that?
On March 12th, 2022, I was going to a party and was getting dressed, tucking things in, wearing a strapless bra, and I felt a lump.
Oh.
And I thought, what is that? And it was big. And so, but I went on and went ahead, didn't panic.
Big? What would you call big?
It was at least like,
oh, really?
This, I think.
So like the size of a $50 or a little larger?
Big, a little bigger. Yeah. But as it was thicker, it wasn't just flat. It was like round, like a little ball or something.
Oh my. Okay.
And so that was on March 12th, 2022. That was a Saturday evening. The Monday I was able to get into my doctor, my primary care doctor, which was a blessing. And she got me, did the exam, saying, hoped it was a cyst, but got me scheduled for a mammogram right away. So by the end of that week, I had a mammogram. They did a biopsy. They had me come back the next day for a biopsy because according to the mammogram, it was a solid mass.
Oh.
And so they had me come back the next day and I had a biopsy. And then on March 28th, they got the biopsy results back and I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer, which is one of the most aggressive, fast growing breast cancers that can return.
Yes.
And that was the 28th.
They diagnosed you at a stage at that point?
I believe it was 1B or 2. I can't remember which it is. A little confused on that part.
That's okay.
But 1A is 1B or 2 stage that I was at. And then on April, and then in April, they 2 weeks later, they scheduled me for all this full day appointments to talk to the oncology, talk to the surgeon, talk to anesthesia, and all these people that I would eventually need to interact with to begin the treatment process. So on April 16th, they put my port in. That was a Friday. And then that next Monday, April 18th, I started my first chemotherapy treatment in outpatient chemotherapy at Kaiser Capitol Hill.
Okay, so before you go on, LaNita, So now what does the port do? Is that where the medication goes in, or?
The port is, it's like they put it under your skin, so that you don't have to, they can connect the needle from the chemotherapy needle each time. Instead of going through your vein, you put it through the port. And so it
Okay.
has easier access.
Okay.
And it's better access because you still got to get poked, but it's long term.
Gotcha.
So
Did
it
they
stays
give you
in
any
for a
idea?
long time.
I'm sorry. Did they give you any idea how long at this point you would be going through chemo treatment?
Initially, I knew that I had to do like 6 months of chemo. And then, they talked about the radiation, they talked about the lumpectomy, they talked about immunotherapy, but you really kind of stuck in what phase you're in at the time. And so you kind of forget about the other stuff because you're dealing with your current situation. So
Right.
first it was the chemo. And so, yeah.
Right.
So you don't really know. You just, yeah.
Because I guess they don't really know, do they?
Say that again?
I said, I guess they don't really know, do they?
No, they don't. They don't. But so I ended up doing from April to June. I had phase 1 of chemotherapy, and that went pretty good. And then in June 2022, then they changed the medications that I was getting for chemotherapy because you get different ones at different times. And so the second phase, they're like, oh, that part was, you did well on that part. That's usually the first part is usually what people have the most problem with. So then I started the second phase and they thought that that would be easier, but it actually was harder. And I ended up in the hospital every month from July to October. And in July was really bad. I was in the hospital for like 2.5 weeks because my levels of my blood levels and stuff went down. I got, and I had an abscess that grew in my throat that was infected, and it just became a lot. So I don't even remember the first week of being in the hospital.
Well, I know you have gone through a lot because I saw some of it. And that's what people don't know and understand, that when you get a diagnosis of breast cancer, it's a journey. And there's so many things that are going to happen that you have no clue because you've never experienced it before. But go on.
So I started treatment, chemo, April 18th. By May 12th, my hair was falling out so much I had to just get it cut off because it was just falling out in clumps. And then again, had a major situation in July where I was in the hospital for like 2.5 weeks. Towards the end of that, my aunt passed away while I was in the hospital, and I was so weak. My daughter came up finally she came up when my aunt passed away to try to help with her arrangements and to help take care of me because I was so weak. But I had my village that was with me throughout that time, my son, my best friends, people that are my family that aren't blood, just people that were rallying around me and helping me, taking me to appointments, taking me to the hospital, getting medications, washing my clothes, and all kind of stuff like that. And it's amazing to have a village because there's no way that I would have got through any of this without my village.
Absolutely. We all need a village.
They all had a key role in it. Cleaning the house. I'm sitting in the wash house crying because I got tired and I couldn't fold my own clothes. I mean, and but they dealt with me. That was a very emotional time. Very, very emotional time. It affects you not just physically, but affects you mentally as well.
Absolutely.
And so I made it through to October. My mouth got really bad. I had blisters inside, outside. My skin on my lips was falling off. And then I finished chemo in October. And after the July visit in the hospital, they're like, well, you can stop or we can keep going. And I'm like, well, I don't have a choice but to keep going. But I cried, but I kept going. I cried because I had to go to the hospital numerous times, but I kept going. And I'm just thankful and grateful that I grew up having a relationship with God personally, and my family and friends, have a relationship with God. So lots of prayers and patience and all of that. And God carried us through. And in November 2022, I had a lumpectomy. It was an outpatient. And then after that, I started immunotherapy, which in December of 2022, because triple negative breast cancer is fast growing and more likely to reoccur, they extend the treatment longer. So like I was taking like Keytruda is one of the things I was taking like once every 3 weeks. And then in March of 2023, I started taking oral chemo along with that. And I had radiation every day for a month, except for the weekends in January of 2023. And it's just very hard, emotionally draining to not be able to do things for yourself, to be sick for so long, and the things that you don't really know or hear about.
Right. I understand.
And I finally finished my treatments. In June 2023, I finished my infusion treatments. In August, I finished my oral treatments, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna start feeling good again. Doesn't work like that. The side effects and everything just seemed like they escalated even more. And still to now, I still get sores in my mouth. I have some now. Have to take medications, still have the excessive tiredness, can't, nowhere near 100%. And it's hard to accept that you won't be back to the 100% that you were, but learning how to accept your new life. And
Your
it's
new
still
normal.
so difficult because the new normal isn't even consistent yet, because you're still dealing with so much randomly. So those are the things you don't know about. I don't remember even seeing anything saying that after you finish treatment that it can be a year or more that the side effects occur and affect you. But being a single woman, I was still trying to work more than I should have been because I'm single. I don't have no one to take care of me. And so, but within the last year, I definitely have learned to try to start taking better care of myself and take the time that I need to take care of me. Because last year was just a pivotal point last summer, because I lost my brother at the same time that I was dealing with active time where I was having problems with my mouth with sores and stuff and just feeling bad. And then by losing my brother, I kind of lost it and had to take time off, totally take 3 weeks off of work. It didn't work. I've never done that. I've always worked to some capacity, trying to make sure that my job didn't lose or not have things done like their payroll and stuff because I was sick.
Right. So let me just take a quick break. If you're just tuning in, you're listening live to Seniors Matter with your host, Brenda Charles-Edwards, on www.RainierAvenueRadio.world, your community radio station. We're here on Fridays from 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Do you know what's the best legacy we can give ourselves and our loved ones? Join me on Zoom for a group or individual session on legacy end-of-life planning. Now back to my guest, Ms. LaNita Thomassen. She's a breast cancer survivor and a member of the Sierra Sisters. So LaNita, we have a video, I believe, of you ringing the bell, and I'm going to ask that be shown, but explain to people what ringing the bell means, please.
Well, ringing the bell, it's funny because we thought that after I had the surgery that I would ring the bell, or and after I, had finished the first chemo in October of 2022, we thought I'd ring the bell, and me and my Bessie were like, when do we get to ring the bell? And they're like, what are you talking about? But that was the surgeon's office. They didn't know what we were talking about. So ringing the bell, June 2023 was when I did my final infusion.
Yeah, that was an exciting moment.
It's it's just looking at it just takes me back. And it was a it was a long road. It was rough, but I made it through because of God and my village. And ringing the bell just symbolizes that you finished that phase and you're cancer free.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful feeling. I can only imagine. The only time I rung a bell is when I was at a restaurant in Mexico, and then they had you ring the bell if you enjoyed your dinner. Not quite the same. So for those of you that don't know, Sierra Sisters is an African-American breast cancer organization that uniquely provides education and advocacy about women and men's breast and health issues. Bridget Hempstead was a 22-year, 3-time breast cancer survivor, and she received her diagnosis on her 35th birthday. At that time, she found no resources for African-American women. Therefore, she became the solution, and Sierra Sisters Incorporated was born. She found that women's fear of breast cancer was due largely to lack of knowledge. Bridget's personal hands-on approach has and is changing the lives of women all across the country. Her determination to educate and empower others came out of her own experience with breast cancer. So, LaNita, when did you get involved with Sierra Sisters?
I got involved with Sierra Sisters in January 2023. I had been going through the treatments and stuff on my own. Everything was fine, but it was just getting harder and harder. And, there's no one to really talk to that hasn't been through it. And I had been referred to Sierra Sisters numerous times by different people, including you and my besties and stuff. And so I finally connected with Miss Bridget. We had a conversation. I started attending the meetings. At that time, they were being held once a month on Zoom. And it's been a journey. I got to, everyone was very welcoming. Everyone, it isn't just breast cancer. Some of the people had different types of cancer, like ovarian cancer or something else. Learning all the different types of medications and remedies that other people use to help with various things. For example, like the sores in my mouth, the doctor never told me to rinse my mouth with peroxide, but the sisters, that was one of the things they did. And Bridget herself, she was I would call her having a bad day or having a bad time or having a breakdown, and she would listen, and she would be patient. She would give me some insight. She would comfort me. She would encourage me. And when I would be on the Zoom calls with the Sierra Sisters in the group, everyone was very open. Everyone was friendly. A lot of times women don't tend to bond and have good relationships because they have all these rules to being friends. But I felt comfortable and accepted immediately within the group. And it was great. I was blessed to have found that the group. I was blessed to have been able to know Bridget, and at House also has encouraged me to reach out and to touch, try to help other people that I come across that have are currently going through it. Like for example, someone I work with, their parent had it, or just different people. A lot of people you didn't even know had it because they kept it a secret. But then once you're diagnosed, then they start sharing with you, because everyone doesn't like to be out, doesn't like everyone to know that such personal side of them or whatever. But right. Sierra Sisters is a blessing. Last year, I received the award, Keep Going, Thriving. And I just felt so honored, and it was a blessing to me at the time. Because we don't take time to recognize the journey that we've gone through ourselves and how we've pushed and we've gotten through things. We don't take time to recognize that. We just, sit down and have a little pity party. But
that's okay, because you're going through something you've never gone through before, and it's life-threatening. So you get lots of grace for that. That's all good.
And I feel like the Sierra Sisters help empower me as well, to be able to share my story. Last year when I got the award, I'm not a person that tends to speak in front of people. I'm usually really nervous and don't like to do that, but I got up and I spoke in front of the crowd and told them my story. I went from being, my hair was my thing. And then when I lost my hair, I didn't even cry. When I was crying is because my son was crying while I was getting the rest of my hair taken off. I was crying because he was crying and he was upset. And it's like going from having no eyebrows and eyelashes to sharing my pictures of my blistered lips and the side of cancer treatment that you don't see.
Absolutely.
Being able to share that on Facebook and be able to show people my pictures and talk and just try to help somebody else. And it's a very empowering group. And the ladies are fabulous, and I'm blessed to be a part of that.
So LaNita, can you just give your speech that you gave?
Yes. Okay.
And ladies and gentlemen, seriously, she is not a speaker before this, and it's taken about a year to get her here. So this is a really big deal. Go ahead.
Yes. It's like, my name is LaNita Thomassen, and I'm grateful to be here today. I am honored and very appreciative of receiving the Cancer Thriver Keep Going Award from the Sierra Sisters. I stand before you not just as an individual, but as a testament to the strength, faith, and resilience that resides within us. We have a unique ability to navigate life's challenges with a sense of quiet strength. We consider what we go through, excuse me, as just another day in our lives, but it is crucial that we pause, acknowledge, and celebrate the incredible strength that allows us not just to survive, but to thrive. On March 28, 2022, I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. Triple negative breast cancer is, sorry.
Take a deep breath. It's okay.
So I'm getting a little emotional in reading this.
Yeah.
But
no.
Triple negative breast cancer is an aggressive, fast-growing form of breast cancer that is more likely to recur. Obviously, I was in shock when I got the news, but I feel like I went into planning and preparation mode. I began first phase of chemotherapy infusions April 18th through June 2022. The second phase of infusions July 2022 to October 2022. I ended up in the hospital 2 weeks in July 2022 and once a month for at least 4 days during August through October 2022. While I was in the hospital, my aunt also passed away. I could hardly walk from being so weak, trying to help my daughter make the arrangements for her funeral. November 2022, I had a lumpectomy. December 2022, I began immunotherapy infusions one time every 3 weeks. January 2023, I had 4 weeks of radiation. I went every day except for on the weekends. In March 2023, they added in oral chemo drugs as an additional immunotherapy. I finished all my infusions in June 2023 and finally concluded my oral treatment in August 2023. I was so excited when I finished because I assumed I would begin feeling better very soon, but that is not what happened. I started feeling worse with intense side effects. I soon learned that the side effects that I had been feeling throughout the treatment can take up to 1 year or more to subside. Last year, which was 2024, I joined the Sierra Sisters Cancer Support Group. It was getting harder and harder to deal with the effects of the treatments. All the parts that were easy for others were hard for me. I learned that everyone's journey is different, as well as their treatment plan and medications used. I felt like the hardest part was the regular chemotherapy, but it wasn't. Being sick so long takes a toll on you, mentally and physically. The Sierra Sisters helped me by being able to share how I felt, listen to others' journey and remedies, ask questions, and get real answers and total support. Everyone in the group was patient, friendly, and understanding. My cancer journey has been rough, but if it was not for my village of my family and friends, I would not have been able to make it through. Taking me to my appointments, infusions, cleaning my house, cooking, washing dishes and my clothes, and listening to all the complaining and pity party days.
LaNita?
I am grateful.
Okay, I'm going to have to stop you because it's a little longer than I thought it was.
Okay.
But because some of this we've already talked about, but I just
Yes.
want to make sure that my audience knows that they, if you have a problem, if you have cancer, any kind of cancer, contact Sierra Sisters, especially if you're female and African American. Their email is Sierra, CIERRA_sisters@hotmail.com. The website is www.sierrasisters.org. And unfortunately, Bridget passed away fighting her last battle of cancer in December 2024. She's gone, but she'll never be forgotten. I just want to say that she was a good friend to both of us, and we're going to miss her dearly. On a commercial side of things, before I have to close, I just want to remind you that the Call to Conscious Museum is now open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. with tours every hour until the 28th of February. Find out more about this year's exhibits and get your tickets early at calltoconscious.world. I'd just like to say, LaNita, thank you for your bravery on all fronts, because sister, you suffered, and I learned a lot from you though. And I feel like I'm a better person than when I also was a coach for and patient advocate for a cousin of mine for 4 years. So I already understood, but your journey was different. And so I'm glad I had the opportunity to be on your journey. And I'm so happy that you're doing better. I know you're not done, but you look great. And I'm just so happy that you were able to come and be with me today. It meant a lot to me.
And thank you for being a part of my village.
You're welcome, my dear. Thank you to my listening and viewing audience, Miss LaNita Thomassen, breast cancer survivor and a member of Sierra Sisters. The music Ragtime by MC Class, A.K. Robert D. Bassett Jr. with Delano C. Baychester LLC. Have a great weekend, be safe, and live your life like it's golden, because it is.